Hello everyone, I'm Professor Ken Vasture. In this today's session, we are going to study the effect of gyroscopic couple on the bearing which supports the shaft which rotates with some rotary masses. In this case, as we change the orientation of the shaft or that masses, how that gyroscopic couple acts on that bearing, how the reaction acting on the bearing gets changed, and this part is very essential in the design of that shaft and the design of bearings where that shaft rotates with the very high speed. For this part is very important. The objective of this session is to understand the effect of gyroscopic couple on the bearing which supports the rotary shaft carrying mass, and the knowledge which is helpful in the principles gyroscopic principle in the design of shaft and the bearings. Now we'll just start with the that three axis. As we know, there are while studying that gyroscopic couple, we need to have the knowledge of that three axis. One is the axis of spinning. Second one is the axis of precession, about which that whole body is rotating. Axis of spinning, about which that shaft or that masses are rotating. And third one is the gyroscopic couple, along which that total gyroscopic couple is acting, about which that total gyroscopic couple is acting. These three axes are mutually perpendicular to each other. Okay, again there are the three planes. One is the axis of plane of spinning, which is perpendicular to axis of spinning. Second one is the axis of precession, which is perpendicular to the plane of precession. And third one is the axis of gyroscopic couple, which is perpendicular to the axis of gyroscopic couple. Okay. This is the overall system that we need to consider while studying this gyroscopic principle. Okay, that three axis again precision that we are. Now we'll start with the effect of gyroscopic couple on the bearing. Okay, in this case we are going to consider some notation. M is the mass of disk, K is the radius of gyration. That disk which rotates with the angular velocity of omega in the counterclockwise direction when viewed from the right hand side. The axial precess, that means that body is rotating about the vertical axis, that means whole system which is rotating about the vertical axis with the angular velocity of omega p in the anticlockwise direction when viewed from the top, okay, above. Now this is the total system. This is the shaft which supports by the two bearings at A and B. This is the rotary mass which rotates with this shaft, okay, with the angular velocity of omega. Its mass is equal to m, capital M, which is the radius of gyration. Again, this mass is located at a distance L1 from the bearing A and located at a distance L2 from the bearing B. L1 plus L2 is equal to L. Now, in this steady state condition, there are the two reactions acting on the, that means reactions acting on the A and B, which is of RAW, RBW, and the total mass of that disk which is in the vertical downward direction, which is of m into g, total weight which is of m into g. Now if we consider the steady state condition and if we take the moment about A, m into g into L1, moment about A is equal to 0, m into g into L1 minus RBW into L is equal to 0, because that mg into L, which is the clockwise direction, and RBW into L, which is the anti-clockwise direction. Anti-clockwise is the negative. By simplifying this term, we will get RBW is equal to m into g into L1 upon L2. In the same fashion, if we take the moment about B, we will find this RAW is equal to m into g into L2 upon L1. These are the reactions in the steady state condition. There is no any change in the plane of rotation there. That means that system is the stationary. Stationary means that though that mass is rotating, still total reactions acting on the A and B, which are the m into g into L1 upon L and m into g into L2 upon L. But now what we are going to do, we are just going to tilt this system about the vertical axis. Okay, now just try to understand. Now what we are going to do, now just consider this illustration. In this you will come to know how that reactions gets added as we rotate this whole system about the vertical axis in a clockwise or the in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay, now in this case, first of all, you need to consider the right hand rule. Now that rotor rotates in the clockwise direction, that means you have to orient, you have to curve your fingers, right hand fingers, in the anti-clockwise direction. The thumb denotes the direction of vector. Thumb denotes the direction of vector. That's why that axis of spinning which is towards right. Okay. And that total gyroscopic couple, which is the I into omega p. I is the mk square. Omega is the angular velocity of that rotor, and omega p is the precessional angular velocity. Okay. Now that rotor rotates in the anti-clockwise direction when viewed from the top. Okay. Okay, that means this is the conditions again given. Okay, this is rotated, okay, in the anti-clockwise direction. Now what we need to do, we have to rotate this vector, this spinning vector, in the anti-clockwise direction. We have to rotate this spinning vector in the anti-clockwise direction. Just try to understand, this is the spinning vector. We have to need to rotate in the anti-clockwise direction till it approaches to the third axis. In this case, first of all, we need to draw these three axes. One is the axis of spinning, second one is the axis of precession, and third one is the axis of gyroscopic couple. The axis of spinning is over, axis of precession is over. Now that axis of gyroscopic couple come into the picture. We have to rotate that axis of spinning in the direction of rotation of that precession till it approaches to the third axis, which is the axis of gyroscopic couple. Now this is the direction of axis of active gyroscopic couple, but we are interested in the reactive gyroscopic couple. This is the axis of reactive gyroscopic couple. Now if you consider this is the axis of reactive gyroscopic couple, now we have to consider that reactive gyroscopic couple again. Now that gyroscopic couple, that arrow is in the downward direction, that means that thumb is towards you. Now again you have to consider your right hand. Again you have to just orient your thumb towards you. Just orient that thumb towards you, right hand thumb towards you, and check the direction of the finger. If you see that fingers rotates in the, that fingers are rotates in the anti-clockwise direction. That fingers are rotates in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay, that fingers are rotates in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay, this is the reactive gyroscopic couple. Okay, total reaction due to the couple, reactions due to the couple, that which is the C is that formula is the I omega p, which is of Rg into L. Now we need to divide this couple onto these bearing supports. Okay, that means that Rg, that C is equal to Rg into L, and that Rg is the reaction due to the gyroscopic couple, which is of C by L. Okay, now that reaction due to reaction on each bearing because of that gyroscopic couple, which is of C by L. Okay, see in this case that gyroscopic couple which is in this direction, which is in the, if you consider this direction, that direction is the anti-clockwise direction. This is the reactive, but for this reaction again, that the system gives some reaction which are in the opposite direction, just opposite of this. Okay, that's why that Rg which is in the upward direction and this Rg in the downward direction. I'll again repeat you, this is the reaction. Here we need to consider the active force, that active force which is in the upward direction, just opposite of it, which is in the upward direction, this is in the downward direction. Okay, now to resultant reaction at bearing A is equal to Ra plus Rg, and resultant reaction at B is equal to Rbw minus Rg. These are the, that means when we change the orientation of this total system with the shaft, these are the reaction acting on the bearing A and bearing B gets changed. If it is the steady state stationary condition, that means there is no change in the orientation. In that case, that Rg becomes 0. But as we change the orientation, reactions acting on the bearing gets changed. And according to that, we need to design that shaft, and according to that, we need to design the bearings. Okay, I would like to show you one video in which that person, the professor, clearly explained what is that gyroscopic effect. Just try to understand this. Okay, I'll just play.
Further, let's have a look at this setup that I've got. I have a wheel here hanging from only one side by this rope. And so right now there's actually a torque on the whole system if I let go, because the weight of this wheel is pulling down, and that force is applied at this distance away from its pivoting point there. So if I let go, well, it does exactly what you'd expect. The wheel swings down this way. But I want to see that as an example of rotational motion. There's a torque which is pointing out this way, which is trying to increase the angular momentum of the system in that direction. Now, angular momentum in that direction requires that the whole system starts swinging anti-clockwise. And so that is what happens. But what happens if I only let go after I've already spun up the bicycle wheel? Well, in that case, the bicycle wheel would already have angular momentum this way, and so a torque pushing that way actually swings this angular momentum around that way. Okay, so let me try to get the wheel spinning and make it work. Come on. Oh, look at that. It's rotating as we predicted. See, the angular momentum vector is pointing out this way, but torque is pushing it this way. So angular momentum, torque, and torque is pushing that angular momentum vector around. Except not for long, because this appears to be a quite frictionful wheel. So
now we'll just consider the same example, but we'll just do with our conventional way with the 3 axes and the 3 planes. Now just consider, in this case, this is one rotor which rotates with some angular velocity, again having some mass, which is the m, total weight or force acting over here, which is of m into g. Again, in this case, what happened? Instead of giving some external force to rotate it about the second axis, in this case, because of its own weight, this body is trying to rotate about the second axis, and that second axis, which is called as the axis of precession. One axis is this is the axis of spinning, second axis is this, which is the axis of precession, and this is the third axis, which is the axis of gyroscopic couple, which is the vertical axis in this case. Okay, now just consider 3 axes. One is the axis of spinning, second one is the axis of precession, and third one is the axis of gyroscopic couple. Okay, now in this case, that rotor rotates in the anti-clockwise direction. Now you have to orient your finger in that direction and just try to understand this vector which is towards this direction. Okay, this is the axis of spinning, which is towards right. Okay, now because of its own weight, that body is moving in the downward direction. That means it's changing. That means plane of spinning, which is moving in the downward direction about this axis of precession. That downward direction, that means this direction is of the clockwise direction. Okay, that's why we have to rotate this axis of spinning till it approaches to the third axis. The second axis is this axis of precession, first axis is the axis of spinning, and third axis is the axis of gyroscopic couple. Okay, now this is the axis of active gyroscopic couple. We are interested in the axis of reactive gyroscopic couple, that vector which is in the upward direction. If we consider that arrow in the upward direction, if you place that, or if you orient your right hand thumb in the upward direction, and if you consider the direction of rotation of the finger, you will find the direction of the rotation of the finger, which is the anti-clockwise direction. That's why that body which will rotate about the vertical axis. In the previous example also, in that video also, you have seen, though that wheel is attached to that string or that rope, still it rotates about the vertical axis. The direction of that, whether it rotates in the clockwise or anti-clockwise direction, which depends on the direction of rotation of that mass. If that mass rotates in the opposite direction, this direction will also get changed. Now in this case, it rotates in the anti-clockwise direction. If we change the rotation of this, it will rotate in the clockwise direction. In this way, we need to find out the direction of rotation using this way. Okay, with this we are going to finish this session over here. That session starts with that effect of the gyroscopic couple on the bearing, which supports the shaft, carries some rotating mass, and we ends with this. Suppose there is one mass, or there is one that wheel which rotates along this one. Suppose this is just like the cantilever type arrangement, and when that one or that mass which is connected to the one string or the rope, one end of that mass which is connected to the string and other end is free. In that case, still if you allow to rotate this, how that gyroscopic effect acting on that rope that we have studied over here. Okay, thank you for your patience listening. Thank you very much.